Good evening, football folks. My name is Big Jeff. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Show with no name. You can see I am very absent today. The champ, Mr. No Chain. That's what I'm start calling Mr. No Chain. He is not with us this evening, but we will be getting some guests in here later. The commission will be dropping by, give us some information on DraftKings. Tell us what players we're going to play this week. We'll talk to him about his leagues and how he's doing this week. Anybody out there that has any questions, any lineup comments, and then they want to jump in, we're just kind of free flow this evening since we're doing it a little different, and we'll just go from the top. So normally, uh, Clint would give us some random stats here and talk about how great he is, but I'm just going to jump right into our league teams this week. Our leagues of record, 19 years going strong. I have won this championship before, but I'm a little down right now, kind of like my boys behind me. But I did go 7-4 this week. So, everything that I tell you isn't just complete garbage. In this league, though, I think I had a bad week, just like a lot of us out there gambling and betting on football. A lot of teams that were scheduled to cover did not cover. Underdogs actually went 7-6 this week across the board, straight up. Caused me to go drop a game. I went 5-4 in this league now. 7-4 overall in my 11 leagues. Got blown out by our commissioner, who will be joining us in about 5 to 10 minutes. 78-104. Uh, if you've been listening to us for the last couple of weeks, we have been hyping up, the Bengals skill players. They were all trash this week. All of them, led by Mr. Joe Burrow himself with 3 points. Didn't hear a lot of "we them boys" chants this week because every Cowboy was terrible, including their defense. They got stomped, but no worse than on the fantasy side. If you're like a lot of us, we're playing Amari Cooper's, Ezekiel Elliott's, things of that nature. I had Cooper. He only scored 4 points. I waited up until the last minute with the Bears game. Found out Mr. Herbert, who had been running, didn't really get any carries this week. He scored 1 point. And Cortland Sutton, shockingly, the way the Broncos just destroyed the Cowboys up 30-0, he really wasn't involved. He scored 3 points this week. So a lot of our guys that we have been hyping up lately all laid eggs for us this week. There are a lot of Burnett Liquor awards to go around this week, but we're going to give those out shortly. Mr. Barbie jumped in the comments, said the Bengals laid some eggs like his boys. A lot of Cowboy fans echoing those same sentiments. Mr. Barber, you can throw us in the comments. Let us know how you think the Cowboys are going to do the rest of the year. Real football, fantasy football, either or is going to go either way. We'll take all comments and questions this evening. We're open to anything you guys want to talk about this evening. Um, there were some good players. We'll start with some of the guys that we have been hyping up on our waiver wire recently. From the Steelers, Pat Fryermuth, the tight end. I gave him a gold star this week. Um, Ben has a noodle arm. Claypool's now hurt. If you didn't know this week, Claypool is hurt. He's not out for the year, but he might be out for some time. So you might want to adjust your lineups if you're just now finding out that information. But I don't think that Ben can really throw the ball further than 10, 15 yards anyway. So Mr. Fryermuth was the recipient. 5 catches, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns for him this week. Another guy who went off, Nick Chubb. 14 rushes, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 carries, and 26 yards. Threw that in for us. Had a monster week, but now he's on the COVID list, we read as of today. So he can still come back before Sunday. You definitely want to keep an eye on that situation. Otherwise, a guy that we have been hyping on our waiver wire previously who went off for you, Dearness Johnson, if he's still available or if you've been clinging on to him because you lost Hunt, but go ahead and keep him around. Mr. Kittle, George Kittle, back off the IR list, comes out with a bang, none too soon. 6 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Devonta Freeman, a super throwback from the Pro Bowl days. Freeman just went off this week as much as he could go off for a guy that's about 162 years old. 13 rushes, 78 yards, 2 catches for 4 yards, but he did bail you out with that touchdown. Um, Mr. Brown, Justin Brown wants to know if Aaron Rodgers will be back this week. everything that I have read says that he won't, but it's Aaron Rodgers, so we know he lies, and the Packers lie for him. Um, Not really sure what's going on with that situation. I think we're going to have to monitor that. Luckily, they do not play on Thursday night. So if I was you, I would definitely monitor that around the 11, 12 o'clock inactives with the Packers for this week. Do not start Jordan Love. Definitely do not start Jordan Love. I made that mistake thinking I could hit some gold with him last week, and he was terrible. He looks like he belongs back in CIAA football. He does not look pro ready. He's going to be the exception to the first round quarterbacks. I think he's probably going to need 2 to 3 years to sit around and be ready before he looks like he's ready to play football. Mr. Barbie says he is ride or die on Dak. He makes the entire Cowboy roster click. But Dak was terrible this week. So, I mean, we're either going to blame it all on Dak or we're going to blame it on Mike McCarthy. We are not going to bash the entire Cowboys roster, even though in fantasy and real life, they suck. There's no other way around it. They suck this week. Yes, and we did talk about Nick Chubb watching for the COVID. He is on the COVID list again, like I said, but NFL protocol says that he can take 2 tests, come up twice. He can come up twice negative within 24 hours, and then he might be able to play for you Sunday. Who's hurt, Michael? Who are we talking about that is hurt here? And you played Tyrod. Ugh, Tyrod. Ugh, terrible. That was a terrible decision. Any Texans. I'm not fooling with any Texans. Not even Brandon Cooks anymore. I'm off the Texans wagon, even though I thought they would throw the ball a lot, getting blown out. But we're not going to play with any Texans this week. The aforementioned, we did go. We'll start off with our Burnett's. Go ahead and give some of our Burnett's list here. Mr. Joe Burrow. Again, we hyped up the Cincinnati train for a long time. They seem to be going the opposite direction. Mr. Burrow was terrible, which in turn made Mr. Jamar Chase terrible. 28 of 40, 282 yards, threw 2 picks. Mr. Burrow actually got benched in that game, if you happen to catch any of that Cincinnati game. Again, we talked about Amari Cooper, 2 catches for 37 yards. Cortland Sutton again, 1 catch for 9 yards. CeeDee Lamb, we see a recurring theme here, 2 catches for 23 yards. A.J. Brown, who we thought would be a big player with Mr. Henry missing, 5 catches for 42 yards. Don't really think that their Adrian Peterson had that big of effect on them. They were just terrible all the way around. The actual worst player that I saw for the week who should have been dominating, I'm going to say Josh Allen. 31 of 47 for 264 yards with no touchdowns and 2 picks. He did rush for 50 yards, but he fumbled once, and they lost 9-6 to the Jaguars. The commissioner has joined us in his Royal Carolina crest.
What's going on?
What's
Sorry
going
I'm
on?
late.
No problem. We're just
What
talking
y'all?
to.
What we covering?
We were
Barbie
giving our
gotta get on the show, bro.
we were giving our shit players for the week. Barbie's giving us his opinion on the Cowboys
Okay.
here and there. But I went over my teams. I was telling the people you did destroy me based on a lot of shit that I put up. But you tell the
Yeah.
people about your team. You tell them what you did this week. You tell them how you
All
did.
right. So, been 4 leagues. Our league of record that we talk about, Hoofnagel League. Actually, only had really. Let's see. Only had one guy who kind of came through. So a lot of people who were able to pick up Cordero Patterson, who has been a bust for about 10 years, but somehow has like this resurgence in Atlanta, who is some type of running back catching wheel routes. He had a pretty good points per reception in those leagues. Scored over 20 points. Justin Fields had a decent game. I picked him up because Kyler Murray. Don't know how long he's going to be out, but both of those guys came through and did a little bit, performed. Kelsey actually had a pulse, scored a few points, but everybody else screwed me. DJ Moore continues to be a disappointment. It's not his fault. He's got a bad quarterback. I picked up Boston Scott, thinking that he would be able to repeat at least a little bit. He was in a lot, but they basically had him doing pass block. And yeah, I really didn't have a lot of performances, man. I think I just won by default, man. Like you just had a tough week. In the league where I've been playing for about 20 some years. Lost that league. Just another league where I have Kyler Murray. Uh, but did pretty good in my other two leagues, man. So just tough, man. Mike knocked off Je and the Juggernaut. Yeah. Je got a pretty solid team.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. He has a pretty solid squad there. Um,
Got
but
got the Brady and Jonathan Taylor and Henderson like driving a lot of his success, and then of course, friggin' James Conner, which is
we
just
didn't get
kind of
them. Yeah, we did
yeah.
not get to Mr.
So
John Carter yet.
yeah, oh, he had that dude on the bench.
Ooh, yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
so you got lucky on that, Mike, because if he had played Connor, that's 40 points he left on the bench, bro.
Yeah. James Conner, 21 rushes, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 catches for 77 yards, and another touchdown. And now Edmonds is hurt, I believe. If I'm read that correctly today, Edmonds is hurt and out this week. Um, they
High
do
ankle
have
sprain.
a guy we have on our waiver wire, Eno Robinson. Looks like he's going to get some run. I think they want to keep Connor kind of in the same lane that he's been in and not try to kind of wear him out like they used to do in Pittsburgh. So, but Arizona they just want to run the ball. We think of Kyler Murray and then they want to just throw, but they really want to jam the ball down my throat. I see our friend Lauren has joined the party. I
Yeah.
do thank you. I need to send Lauren a thank you card. Lauren did trade me James Conner about 5 weeks ago when I
Oh, she
lost,
did.
maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago when I lost Kareem Hunt as a throw in, and now he's my only running back.
Yeah.
He's the only running back I have. I went with you and I played Boston Scott as well. Not really sure what Philly is doing with a 5'5", 200-pound running back pass
Okay.
blocking, but hey, it's Philly. You're a Philly
uh,
fan.
who
I know your
knows,
pain. I
man?
feel your pain. It's Philly.
Everybody's gonna play Jordan Howard this week, and then they're gonna it's gonna be the opposite. And then Boston Scott gonna have 3 touchdowns. So
Or Gainwell will finally get to play.
oh
He'll
god, what a
finally get to
mess!
play. God,
What a
it's a mess
mess!
in Philly.
Feels like New
Everything in
England.
Philly.
Feels
Lauren,
like
what
New
else you
England.
doing today? Oh, also, hold on. Lauren has a friend. Lauren's friend Nicole
All
is
right,
in the Baltimore area.
all
She
right.
is fighting against cancer. So we are
Ah,
dedicating this show to Nicole. Want her to get better.
look
Anybody
at
out there who has dealt with that in their family understands what they are going through.
for
So
sure,
fantasy football shout out to Nicole today. Hope everything gets better with her.
for sure, for sure. Shouts out. Yeah.
All right. So we normally each week in the NFL they have given us some garbage to chew on, whether it was Rodgers, Henry Ruggs. Didn't
Oh,
really have a lot to chew on, but I didn't get to talk to you this weekend because it was my birthday. I was out of town.
oh yeah, that's right.
Um,
Birthday boy.
I didn't get to talk to you. Tell me your opinion on the end of the Pittsburgh Chicago game with the taunting. I've been reading a lot, and I really wasn't on the taunting thing before, but it seems to me like the NFL just kind of created a taunting problem when I don't really remember us having a taunting problem before. You tell me, what's your thought about it?
Yeah, I think sometimes I don't know. It's not like they lack attention. So sometimes I don't understand. Like I don't get it. I don't get why they create these places for people to have like information or like some I guess material for the talk shows and stuff. I just been reading about it. I didn't catch the end of it. So all I've seen is just like people's reactions to it.
So, guy who's been on, was it Cassius Marsh is the name.
Hmm.
He's played for 8 teams in 8 years, I believe. This might be his ninth team. I'm not even sure.
Okay.
Um, he was on the Pittsburgh roster earlier this year. Got cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comes in, probably gets the biggest sack of his career. I think he's only had 14 career sacks in about 90 games.
Yeah.
Um, and he takes like 3 to 4 steps towards the Pittsburgh sideline. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't throw his hands up. Doesn't cuss at anybody. Punter
Yeah.
runs right past him. He backs up to run back across the field, and it looks to me like Tony Corrente backed into him, which is crazy at its own that the NFL hasn't talked about a referee bumping into a player. Looks
Yeah.
like almost like he was waiting to look to see what number he was wearing. Then turns around and throws the flag as he's going to the other side of the field. Keeps Pittsburgh on the field. They end up kicking the field goal. Now Chicago does go down and score. Justin Fields with a hell of a pass there at
Yeah.
the end.
Mooney.
They
I
do go
saw.
down
Yeah.
and score, but that 3 points allows Pittsburgh to then get the ball back with 1 minute and 40 seconds. They only
Yeah.
need Boswell to kick the field goal, as opposed to Noodle Arm Ben trying to throw the ball 70 yards down the field to score after they had already lost Claypool.
Yeah.
I I don't think the NFL really understands what they have done, and it's not going to bite them until this happens to maybe
Tampa Bay.
Brady or
Yep.
somebody in a playoff game
Yep.
or a game that decides seeding, and then all of a sudden taunting won't be a problem anymore.
Yep. It's not gonna be an issue. It makes stuff an issue. It's ridiculous. And I don't know what they're trying to do. Like trying to send a message to who? To the players, the kids. I don't get it.
All right, let's jump off of fantasy football for a second. Let's talk about some
Okay.
real football for a second.
Real football
It's the
stuff.
middle of
Okay.
the second. Let's talk about some real football. I'm looking
Okay.
at this week's schedule. We're not
All
going to
right.
jump right into the Thursday night game because we talk about the Thursday night game every week here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the schedule, but any games this weekend that you are, this is a turning point. Do or die. Teams got to win. This got to happen this week, or whatever. You tell me what stands out on the schedule this week to you. Big games.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of watchable games. I don't know if people listen to what's the dude's name, Bill Simmons. Like they on Sunday night, him and cousin Sal, like they do a podcast and they talk about like what they guess the lines of like of every game coming up. Have like a little game and they say which games are watchable. And I think the games that they said were watchable this week were Saints and Titans. And so like that's kind of a big game because I don't know if the Saints are any good. I feel like the Titans are. Definitely the Titans are. It's real interesting seeing that. So that's like a big game, I think, to kind of see if the Titans really are good or if they caught the Rams on flat-footed. I'm interested in seeing the Patriots and the Browns.
Definitely.
I'm interested in that one. I'm interested in seeing the Cowboys and the Falcons because the Falcons just find ways to just be mediocre like the Cowboys.
Disappoint.
Yeah, but then they end up just winning games they're not supposed to win. The Cowboys, obviously, like I really don't know if they're good. I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. I don't know if the team's good. You've been beating up on teams that are terrible, and you played a halfway decent team and got destroyed. Like who else am I looking forward to seeing? I'm interested in seeing. It's always interesting to kind of see like what the hell's going on with Kansas City, and they play Sunday night. So the Raiders are golly, the Raiders, man. There's another guy or something that did something on the Raiders. I can't remember what I read. There's another guy that did something. So the Raiders just imploding, man. But
another draft pick from that 2020 class sent a video threatening somebody. The Raiders are in no position to really fuck around with anybody right now. They immediate cut. I think if I don't have it in front of me, Raiders had maybe 6 draft picks in that class. They have 2 left. 2 left on the roster. One that's on the bench, and then Edwards. He was a late round draft pick, but he's basically forced to be their starting X wide receiver now, based on where they are with Ruggs and other things that's going on. So really, they have Darren Waller, a banged up Josh Jacobs, and nothing. But Chiefs defense
it's gonna be close. It's gonna
terrible.
Well, the defense played well last week, but it's because they were playing against a high school quarterback. So I don't know what's going on with Kansas City, man. Like it's just fascinating to kind of watch. It's like what happened. At first, it was like I thought it was like the defensive scheme, but
no, they're just bad.
Mahomes, man, he can't. Man, I just think he got the yips. He can't play, man. He's like he had 3 years of just like closing his eyes and like doing wild stuff and no consequences, and now everything he does.
I think the Chiefs' defense is so bad, and he's not confident in that terrible offensive line that they spent a ton of money and draft picks on, that he just kind of feels like, you know what, I got to make every play every single time or we're not going to win. So things that we don't really the no look passes and stuff like that. Those are cool. That don't play your game, Mahomes. But it's the simple, the 12-yard outs, the hooks. It's like I gotta jam this thing into this tight window, and these dudes are not getting any separation. I'll be interested to see if your favorite wide receiver that you love to hate ends up in Kansas City this week. He says it's going to take a few days to think about it.
Odell.
I I don't see Odell with anyone but the Chiefs and the Packers. But I said Chiefs and Packers all along, unless somebody was just going to
Oh, Las
conspire
Vegas. No,
to
he's going
pick
to the
him up.
Raiders. Raiders.
I don't think the Raiders.
Well, I
I,
forgot. He has some control because he's a free agent. So
he has a free agent,
and
so he can go
he's,
where he wants.
and he said he wanted to go to a contender with an established quarterback. But I mean, and I don't hate Odell. He's basically I equate him to Russell Westbrook. He's like flashy. People love him because like he, for whatever reason, but he's not a winning player. We had one winning season with him, 2014. We went to the playoffs with him. He did the little stupid thing in Miami with the picture with his shirts off, with all his buddies with their shirts off and dancing close to each other, whatever they do, and had a terrible game. He's not a winning guy. The catch that made him famous, Giants lost that game.
Well, I was going to go back to that. I blame ESPN for everything we've ever dealt with Odell. He made that catch, which at the time, greatest catch of the century. It still might be top 5 catches of all time in NFL, but he has built a career and got $100 million off of one catch. Raiders got Deshawn Jackson now. Yeah, I did see Deshawn out there on the practice field, but again, Deshawn, he's 862 years old.
He's another guy.
The Raiders.
Never won anything. Never won anything.
When is Jackson going to retire? He's going to go Hall of Fame.
No.
Deshaun Jackson.
For what? Hall of Fame.
Hall of Good. He's in the Hall of Good.
Yeah.
Now, if anything, I will give you this. Philly should bring him back, and he should end up in the Philly Ring of Honor for the things he did in NFC East games and playoffs with them. But outside of that, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy. He's just a guy. I'm interested also in that Falcons-Cowboys game, not to be a Cowboy hater. I think the Cowboy offense gets back on track this week, but I don't think Cowboys can stop shit. I honestly don't think they can stop. And Matt Ryan, we talked about this earlier, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you and I, that Matt Ryan, I mean, he's a guy, but he's basically what Mahomes is doing this year. So he could go for 300. He could go for $170. He could go for 4 touchdowns. He could throw 3 picks. You just never know. I think we found out that Diggs was exposed. I think the entire Cowboys defense is not very good. And if Dak isn't cooking, then the Cowboys themselves aren't good. I don't think McCarthy's the right coach for that team. He doesn't really scheme well. Miami could go off on the busted Baltimore D. Yeah, and I could scratch off the winning lottery ticket when I leave here too. But
no, Baltimore, they're gassed. They play the overtime game and they got to play Thursday. The Miami's going to win the game.
I don't like road teams in Thursday night games, but it's the Dolphins. Like when you talk about your Giants, I've been down this road before, and as friend from what I've seen, everything that I see says that Tua's not going to play Thursday.
He's not going to play. Brissett's
Tua's not going to play. Brissett is bad. I mean, he's really bad.
Bad.
I give you a stat for that. I got one for you, Lauren, because we were going to talk about. We can talk about the Thursday night game. Dolphins give up 27 points a game, 111 yards rushing, 281 yards passing a game, which is third most in the league, and they've given up 17 passing touchdowns. Now, if Tua was going to play, Miami's only saving grace is that the Ravens are one of the 2 teams in the NFL that give up more passing yards than the Dolphins. But they only give up 90 yards on the ground. So, and they've only scored and given up 9 rushing touchdowns. Here, we're about to hit, week 10? The over-under on the game is 46.5. I'm going to say it hits the over, and we'll go Baltimore 31, Miami 17. Just because they're both terrible on defense.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know that. Oh, we didn't. Did we keep up with what we predicted for last
For
week. I
last
told you
week,
that. You wrote it
I
down.
did not because I think we were terrible. I think we took the Jets though, did we not?
Did you take the Jets?
Were we all on the Jets? Not the Jets. What was last week's game? It's
Last
not the
week's game
Jets.
was it was the yeah, it was the Jets and the Colts.
Jets and the Colts. We were all on the Jets, and Jonathan Taylor quickly shut
But,
that down. But to be fair,
yeah,
Mike White was hurt.
it was
Mike
in
White was hurt.
the total score was like 75 points, man. It was crazy.
So yeah, it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy out there. But hey, these Thursday
Lauren
night games are
says
crazy.
remember when the Finns almost lost all their games? Yeah, it was like they had a 1-15, didn't they?
Why you always bringing up old shit, Lauren?
Yeah,
Why you always bringing up old
bringing up
shit?
all shit. Yeah, I do feel like they had a 1-15.
We did
I
have a
can't
one in
remember.
15. We did have a 1 in 15.
Was that
That
one
was
of those Ronnie? Was it one of those Ronnie Brown years?
definitely Ronnie Brown.
I love Ronnie Brown, man.
I
I
think
love that dude in fantasy. God, I
I
love
could be
Ronnie Brown.
wrong, and even as a Dolphins fan, I could be wrong. This might be the year before Pennington,
Hmm.
and then we got Pennington. I might be too far ahead of time. Is this the year Brady got hurt, and then we made the playoffs, and then we went to Baltimore and got smacked in the damn mouth in the damn playoffs? We probably haven't seen a playoff game since then. If I'm guessing right, we probably haven't seen a playoff game since then.
Yeah, man, I can't remember. I feel like there was. I'm sitting there trying to look it up, saying that their records the last 10 years.
Yeah, we suck.
Oh yeah, she's right. Wow, that's pretty good.
What was it?
1
7?
in 15. One, yeah,
Yeah, we were
2007.
1-15.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty good, Lauren.
one in
You need,
16 if we were playing
yeah,
17.
yeah. Go ahead, and click. You need to click and get on the on camera link. And look, and then they went
Well,
11-5 that next year, the
that's
Chad
the year we
Pennington
won the
year.
playoffs. The
Yeah,
Chad Pennington year.
yeah,
Hey, we're terrible. Don't worry, we're going
yeah.
2-15 this year. So I mean, hey,
And y'all had Jason Taylor. How you do that? Cam Cameron was the coach. That's crazy.
that would be why.
That is
2007.
crazy.
That would be the year that Cam Cameron took Ted Ginn with our number 7 overall pick. Now I'd be interested to go back and see who else went in the first round of the 2007 draft that we
But you
took
and you, but you
Ted
haven't.
Ginn.
But since that 1 in 15 year, you really haven't had like super piss poor years. This 2-7 is a real outlier because like it's a bunch of 7-9s, 8-8s, 10-6. There's a 5-11. A couple years ago, but like there's a bunch of 10-6, 8-8s on here
We're
since
terrible.
then.
It can't.
Just
As a
mediocre. I
Dolphins
mean,
fan,
you
it's
basically
mediocre, but they can't even blame it on the fact that they play in the AFC East because we've been going 500 with the Patriots for like 10 straight years. We've been getting one of those games when a lot of teams hadn't beat the Patriots in 10, 15 years. We were normally
yeah,
winning at least one. The one that
yeah,
they
y'all,
play in Miami, normally we win that one.
yeah, you always get them, man. Miami's always
I
get
think
them.
an
That's right.
interesting game also will be the Monday night game. Not that I think that the Rams are going to lose, but I'm wondering if this is the official coronation of Trey Lance gets into the game and never comes back out. Also, if they
Hmm.
lose that one, I would bet my money that Shanahan is probably talking to realtors, has moving signs in his front yard by the end of this season. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion. 49 fans out there, you can tell me.
it's really interesting. He's got all this genius, and I think he's got like a worse winning percentage than Chip Kelly.
Yeah. I mean, they were terrible. They had the one good 13-3 year, which is I don't want to see coaches get fired, but it kind of leads to the issue as to why coaches need 3 to 4 years
Yeah,
to get that one build up. Now, what you do after that 3 or 4 years, but he took his 3 years, he got into a Super Bowl. They had a chance. They should have won that game, really.
yeah.
If he won that Super Bowl, he buys himself like 4 more years of security.
Oh God.
Um, we have a question here. What is our question? Let's take a look. Who is this here?
God, this shit. That just I'll get me off on a tangent, man. I think Tom Brady has been given like at least 3 Super Bowls, and it just pisses
Well,
me off.
we already know that. Well, who
Yeah.
would we start? Emmanuel Sanders,
Okay.
Christian Kirk, Hunter Renfro, Jerry Judy, or Tim Patrick? I'm gonna start with one, and I'm gonna go to the end. You can let the commissioner jump in. I have been standing on the table as the leader of the Tim Patrick fan club every week. At least 7 of our 8 shows, he has been on our waiver wire target and has exceeded expectations every week. Yet we come back to him every week. He's only owned in 30-40% of leagues. For some reason, I don't know if it's Teddy Bridgewater or what the
Yeah,
deal is, Tim Patrick gets the most disrespect. If he played in a big market team or if he was a cowboy,
yeah, he's a bad boy.
if he was a cowboy, he'd probably have a commercial. Like, that's just being honest.
Yeah,
Because all you
chosen
need is,
rows is this a points per reception league? Just to be clear, I'm assuming it is because I mean most people play.
I don't want any parts of Renfro or
Oh, you
Judy.
don't?
I don't want any parts of Renfro. Not
Okay,
this
so
week.
let's say so the Bills are playing the Jets. They're terrible,
They're terrible,
but
but they might
I
run
can't
it up
I
on
can't
them.
I can't trust the targets on Sanders. Kirk is interesting if Hopkins doesn't play, but I don't know because Murray might not play, so that's scary because all Colt McCoy does is throw screens. Because he has like a little noodle arm. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know he was the backup. I didn't know he was the backup for the car. I was like, who's
Honestly,
this? I was like, who's this little white dude out here? I was like, oh, that's
games
Colt
were
McCoy.
so terrible this week. There were a lot of guys I didn't know. I didn't know Kenny Steele still played football
Yeah,
until the other night.
he's
Kenny
one of
Steele
those.
plays
Oh, he's still in the
football.
league. Yeah, yeah, he's still in the league. He's still in the league,
I
dude.
thought that I figured he got caught up in the Kaepernick kneeling thing and they ran him out of the league. I did not
Yep,
know that he was still playing football. Good
he
shot.
is
Good
definitely
for you,
one of
Kenny
those
Steele.
dudes.
Still getting the check. Hey,
I'm
get
trying to
those
think of
checks
some.
as long as you
I'm
can.
trying to think of somebody else that's one of those. He's still in the league, guys. He definitely Steals is one of those. There's somebody else I saw. He's still in the league. I have to remember who it was. Who I saw.
So I'm gonna say chosen rows. I'm gonna go Patrick. And if this is a PPR, like you said,
Steals
I'll
came home.
monitor to see if Hopkins is gonna play. And I might go Kurt. There's a long shot. Or golly.
I
I
like
guess we
Renfro
might
just
have to
because I think
go Renfro though.
yeah, he's gonna get
They have
targets.
nobody else
Yeah,
to throw to.
yeah,
Although I wish they wouldn't and would throw to Waller because I have a lot of Waller stock in a lot of these leagues. But I guess Renfro. I guess you can't go bad with the Clemson guy. But I would say we'll go with Patrick and Renfro then.
yeah. I think I go with Patrick Renfro. Now, if Kyler Murray plays and D Hop doesn't play, I go Kirk.
Yeah, now if D Hop's not playing, definitely want to go Kirk. But again, these are things you got to monitor those actives. And then actives, let's see, Cardinals are actually a 1 o'clock game this week, aren't they? Are they on who are they playing this week?
Let me
Oh
look
no,
this up.
Cardinals are still at 4 o'clock. They have the terrible Panthers. Hell, fire up Christian Kirk,
God,
even if Hopkins plays in. And now
that's
they
a,
might try to score
oh,
60 on the Panthers this week.
that's a dumpster fire game. I don't know about that one. Yeah, these games are just tough, man.
All right,
Golly,
real football question for you.
these 1 o'clock games are bad. It's the Saints and the Titans, and that's it. And these other games are terrible.
Let's talk about the Panthers for a second here.
Oh
Panthers
God,
are hurt. Darnold's hurt. Darnold's been terrible, but Darnold's hurt.
terrible. Yeah,
Are then now we're going to go to PJ Walker, and we have found that was the guy that I knew, Matt Barkley. Somehow Matt Barkley's still in the NFL. Did not
that's
know that.
still
Did
in the league.
not know he could potentially be playing because PJ Walker looked terrible
He's
the other
terrible.
week. Which means if you have DJ Moore, if you have CMC, if you have Robbie Anderson, you should have cut him already. But
Oh God.
what do you do with CMC, DJ Moore, with the likes of PJ Walker and whomever playing quarterback? That's question one.
You gotta play
Question
McCaffrey.
two is, and I have been reading this and listening to this on the radio all day. Why won't somebody just admit that they're wrong and bring Cam back
I don't
for the
think Cam's.
Panthers?
I don't think Cam's an upgrade.
Would Cam come back to the Panthers if they called him right now?
I wouldn't.
If you get down to Matt Barkley, you'd rather play Barkley than call Cam off the couch?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
Is
you
that how
just
far it's gone? Is that how far
close,
we've sunk?
close that chapter, man. Close that chapter.
Bring brother Cam home. He
It's a
probably already got
toxic.
it straight anyway.
That's the toxic boyfriend, toxic girlfriend. Like just once they out, that's it. Just end it.
But we
End
love
it.
that toxicity. We
End it.
love it. We
End
love
it.
the toxicity.
End it. Not
Oh,
good for you,
hell.
man.
Come on, Cammy.
It's over. He's washed, man. He's washed.
It's watch.
Completely
Now,
washed.
they say there are no unwatchables. Now, the game that I had marked down as the most watchable game, and this is all based on injury,
Yeah.
if we get Rodgers back against Russell Wilson at 425, that should end up being the game of the week. Russell's back at practice. We don't know what Mr. Immunization is going to be by Sunday, but they do play at 4 o'clock. So, I mean, I saw Russell coming off the. I saw a lot of people had dropped Russell in a lot of leagues. I saw him
He
flying
dropped
off
him in
the
our
waiver
league.
wire. Yeah, he was
Who
dropped in our
who
league.
who had him?
I don't know, but I think Mr. Barbie picked him up. I think Mr. Barbie had
Barbie
slid
got
and
him.
picked him up and put him on his IR.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of
good for you,
Cam.
Barbie.
I'd take Old Man Rivers before Cam and Nola. Well, Old Man Rivers can
Yeah,
throw the ball. I mean, I would take Old Man Rivers too. If Panthers need to be calling him, but I guess he's not coming out to play for a
yeah.
non-contender.
I just
But he is an
Cam.
NC State
It's
guy. I
just
mean, I maybe come home for a few minutes just to say. I mean, I don't
oh
know where
yeah,
Phillip Rivers is.
yeah.
Where
He'll
Rivers is
sling
on
it.
the
That
yeah,
little
where he is on the
whatever
all-time
that
list.
little herky jerky, whatever that little the passing motion he is. Oh,
Well,
Lauren
they
asked,
suspend
will they
Rogers.
suspend Rogers?
No,
No.
he got Aaron Rodgers got fined today. Let's just talk about this for 2 seconds because I hate to give Aaron Rodgers any time. Aaron Rodgers got a fine today from the NFL that was about $1,000 less than what CD Lamb got for wearing his socks too short. That's all you need to know about whether Aaron Rodgers is getting suspended or not.
Yep.
We'll just leave that in that.
Yeah, and the NFL knew for 8 consecutive weeks that he was showing up to the press conferences with no masks. They knew that he had been asked for the special exemption, whatever the horse pills, or whatever he was taking. So they were complicit in allowing him to this ruse. So they knew. So it's like,
They knew.
what you gonna suspend me for? Y'all let me get away with it. For what?
And if he never came up positive, we would have never heard about it.
We never heard about it.
We'd have never heard about it if he didn't come up positive.
Talking about we looked at the videos and we saw their surveillance, and there was only a few isolated incidents where he didn't wear a mask. Like, how about every single day
Every
when he
single
was
day.
there? Get out of here with this.
The whole team basically was at a Halloween party. He was dressed as John Wick, no mask.
Yeah.
The man said he was growing his hair out for 3 months to get ready for this costume. So
Yeah.
hey,
No,
but
it's not.
he gets his medical advice from Joe Rogan. So that's all you need to know about that entire situation. So
Yeah. I'm done. I mean, I love him as talent, man, but like I can't deal. And then he had the audacity to compare his struggle to Martin Luther King writing letters from Birmingham jail. I can't. I'm done.
yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done with him. We're done with that guy.
No,
Yeah,
we're done with him.
done with that guy. I love his talent though, man. Like he's better than Brady. I mean, he's more talented than Brady, but he's just a jerk. Oh, Brady cheat. Yeah,
All right,
Brady.
so
Well, Brady's a cheater though.
well, Brady cheats.
Brady cheats.
But the entire
And people don't talk about that.
organization cheats, so-
Tom Brady cheats, and he's part of a cheating organization that cheated to win their first couple Super Bowls. He got 3 of them given to him. He's no Joe Montana. I said it.
Who's the GOAT?
Joe Montana's not even close.
Montana's still the GOAT?
Not even close. He didn't have to have the defense win Super Bowls for him. Atlanta, Seattle. Trying to think, what's the other Super Bowl that was given to him? I mean, he gave us 2. So I will say he had 2 given to him that he gave us 2. But oh well.
You're in a special position as a Giants fan to be
The
able
first
to
3
expound about it.
He gets no credit for the first 3. Well, I'm sorry, he gets no credit for the first 2. The first 2 Super Bowls the Patriots won, they
That's
cheated
Vinatieri.
anyway.
Well, they cheated. Then
They
Vinatieri.
cheated anyway, and so the defense won those. The third one, when they beat the Panthers, that was him.
Yeah, 2 from Vinatieri. Yeah.
And then when he won the fourth one, when he beat the Seahawks, I mean, come on. When he beat the
You're a Giants fan. That's why you're hating.
When he beat the Falcons, that was given to him. The defense beat the Rams. And then the defense beat the Chiefs. So I was like, hey, get out of here. Get out of here.
Lauren, you're a Saints fan. Lauren's a Saints fan.
I'm not hating. I mean, I don't have anything to hate Lauren. Like, he never beat us. He can't.
I mean, oh.
Can't beat Eli. Whatever. We won twice. We played him twice.
2 rings.
He lost. Got 2
Kiss
rings.
the rings.
We played
Kiss the
Brady
rings.
twice. We beat him.
That's all you can say.
That's all we can say.
That's all you
There's
can say
nothing.
about it.
Scoreboard. Scoreboard.
Wow. That is terrible.
Oh well, and we would have went back to back Super Bowls if damn Plaxico hadn't shot him damn self in the damn leg. Because that team that
Well,
we had the next year, woo,
woo-wee.
that team was special. Damn Plaxico shot himself in the leg, man. So I'm sorry, I don't get the Brady stuff because I can only I just give you one Super Bowl where I felt like he was head and shoulders like the one against the Panthers, the one against the Eagles. Maybe those two where I feel like he was like the main reason that they won, but every other one they either cheated or you know, people cannot give Brady credit for the one against Seattle or Atlanta. I just say Atlanta and Seattle. I'm sorry, they're just especially
Skip Bayless
Seattle.
says that's the greatest Super Bowl game ever played by a quarterback.
Atlanta,
The Atlanta game, the
Lord
comeback.
have
He says
mercy.
that's the greatest played game ever. We
That's the
go for
greatest.
550.
It's the greatest choke job.
That game right there has set the Atlanta franchise back for the next
He did
20
play
years.
a hell of a game against the Eagles, then he fumbled and gave the game away.
So he didn't win that one. What else you
Trash.
got?
Trash.
We found out Lauren was a Welker jersey. Welker had a Welker jersey on. Okay.
Welcome's
I
a
mean, I can
bad
get
boy.
with Welker. He's a former Dolphin. I can get with
Yeah.
Welker. I'm not knocking against Welker.
Couldn't catch that pass at the end of the game against the Giants that time, but it's all right.
I just want you to know I did send an invite to Lauren to come on here so we could debate about these things.
Yeah.
She's just hiding in the questions, lurking for you. I would have liked to hear this Brady debate live and in person.
Tom Brady next week, Lauren. You got if we do this draft thing, you got to come on the show.
Gotta come
now,
on.
He's a hell of a. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on him, but like I just think he was very fortunate, and he played for a cheating organization. Coach cheats. No respect.
The fact that you had on a Vrabel jersey before that tells you all you need to know about who really won those Super Bowls.
Yeah,
that tells you everything you need to know about who was really good on that team.
That defense, man, like those first three, man, I just can't give them really much credit for those. And golly, that Seattle one really hurts me. I remember that so vividly, sitting in my house. Marshawn Lynch, I just knew they were gonna run the ball. I got up to go get a drink because I just knew it was over. And all I heard was, "Oh no!" And he gets credit. He gets credit for the win when he did nothing.
Well, he sent Darrell Bevel a check after that. We already know.
And then Julio, that catch that Julio had in that Atlanta Super Bowl, Julio caught the ball. All they had to do was they could have just took a knee. They could have took 3 straight knees and kicked a field goal.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it's the worst. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I digress.
I digress from that. We're gonna talk about Brady. Okay, let's we're gonna jump back to fake football for a second here.
All right.
Waiver wire guys that you need to be monitoring, watching this week. I got a couple. You let me know if you got any of these guys out here or things that you want to go. I'd say we talked about the Jets playing Buffalo earlier this week. I'm big on Elijah Moore. I showed he was balling this week. Buffalo's going to be a different story, but I expect the Jets to be getting blown out. Elijah Moore only owned in 45% of leagues if you need a wide receiver. I'm interested Ty Johnson in that same game. 2 Jets in the same waiver wire pickup. Mike White, even though he had that big 400-yard game, he is the king of the dump-off pass.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure Michael Carter is that great of a receiver, but they seem to want to throw to Ty Johnson. He's only owned in 16% of leagues. Deontay Foreman. There was a lot of hype about AP coming back last week, and AP did get the touchdown. But I think that they really want Foreman to be the worker in between the 20s. Let AP pound it in, and they still want to keep McNichols catching the ball on third down to kind of not disrupt the flow of what they got going on. Deontay Foreman, that's my deep cut for the week. Only owned in 5% of leagues. And then I threw one more in because I keep seeing Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson possibly not getting off of this injury list before the week. They both had concussions. It would be awesome if both of them cleared. I don't know if they're both going to clear, but Brandon Bolden still only like 2% of Yahoo leagues right now, even after the week that he had.
Yeah.
Pick him up and stash him if you got room. Can you drop Herbert? Who are we talking about? Is that Bobby Hebert?
From Chicago. For Chicago.
Oh, Herbert. Can I drop Herbert Khalil?
Yeah, I don't know if I
Um,
drop him because
I won't drop
you
him
know
because
I wouldn't
Montgomery
drop
has
him
a bad league. He's out there,
unless you
but
got to make a key pickup for somebody to. What's your record, Lauren? If you need to pick up somebody to make the playoffs, man, because like if you anybody on this pod is watching this thing and you have 6 losses, 5 losses, 6 losses, you can probably only afford one more loss max.
that's it.
So if you're at 5, 6 losses, if you got to do something that's going to help you win this week, you can't.
Whew.
7 is drop them if you need to pick up somebody because 7-7 is probably it's probably you probably got like a 60% chance to make your playoffs at 7-7. 8-6 will get you in. 7-7 is going to be iffy.
16 teams. How many playoff teams are there in this league?
Ooh, I hope it's at least 8.
If you're in an 18 playoff, regardless of the size of the league, you still got a shot. If you're in a 16 playoff at 2-7, it probably ends today. Unless all the rest of your games are against everybody that's ahead of you and you knock all of them
Yeah,
off and bring them back down to,
yeah. I
to
think seven
somewhat
and seven.
within
I
your
think you
record.
get a shot. I think 7-7 get your shot in most leagues. I mean, but but
You got to go on a
it's not a
run.
guarantee because nowadays, 8-6 definitely get you in our league. We always consistently have 7-6 because we used to end on week 13. 7-6 will always get people in. So
Let's see where we are right now. League of record right now. We do have 8 playoff teams. I am
yeah,
currently
don't give up,
sitting
Lauren.
in. I'm sitting in seventh at 5-4, but the eighth place team is 4-5. So, and we're all within. I mean, the leader of the league's JE. He's at 7-2 in our league of record. So
Yeah.
anything can happen. And some of these teams that are above me, especially me, I'm in the playoffs at the moment. I have scored the least amount of points total of any playoff team. So some of these teams have just had some huge weeks, and I just been kind of piecing that thing together. My first two picks were
She went
AJ
2.
Brown and Calvin Ridley. It was over when it started.
Yeah. Yeah, it was with those two. Yeah.
When the zero RB hits, it hits. But when it doesn't, it'd be some long Sundays in there
You got to
watching those
make sure you
scores.
got the right
you
2
gotta,
receivers.
you gotta be on the damn waiver wire like before everybody else. When somebody
Yeah.
goes down, you gotta hit that lottery ticket wide running back that nobody else is talking about right now. Like Connor, nobody was talking about James
Nobody's talking
Conner.
about Connor. Yeah.
James Robinson went late. I mean, there's some other guys. Swift went kind of late.
Yeah.
So you just got to be on it if that's the route that you're going to go.
Yeah. You got to make sure. I mean, I took D Hop as my first wide receiver, and it just hadn't worked out great. He's all right, but it's not game changing.
All right, so the king of the draft kings, the degenerate gambler that we all love, give us some DFS plays for this week so we can make some of this money back before Christmas gets here.
Okay. Tomorrow, obviously, even though it's the Ravens defense, so the Ravens defense is going to be gassed, but you got to always do Lamar Jackson in your captain spot. So make sure make sure folks are doing that. Some sleeper people sitting here looking at some of the you said something about McNichol. Like during the slate, play him. He's gonna be pretty cheap. He's gonna get you, 6, 7 catches. He's gonna be real cheap, so he can fit in some studs. Um, you want to go ahead and play if the 2 running backs from the Patriots don't play. Bolden is another cheap one. I think he's like $3,500 right now, so it'll allow you to do something special. I'm saying it today, and I believe this. If you're playing cash or if you're playing a tournament, spend the money on Josh Allen. He will bounce back from having that terrible last week, and he will. I'm predicting a 40-point fantasy day against the Jets. So don't get cute. Um, Try to get like these kind of like sleeper guys that are backup types, like the Boldens, like I talked about, um, or who's the other guy I talked about, You said something about Ty Johnson. Like, try to find like some
Yeah.
cheap running backs that are just going that they're gonna get like 5 or 6 catches and some opportunities that are gonna be like somewhere around that 3,500. Look for these 3,000, $3,500 players on DraftKings so you can afford Josh Allen. I think it's probably okay to go ahead and spend that money for McCaffrey because they're gonna be down and there's gonna be a lot of catches for him. Um, who else is on the slate that I feel like is going to have a big game? Um, this Cowboys game, I feel like there's going to be they're at home. Dak Prescott had a terrible game last week. I feel like he's going to blow up. That's another person to spend up on. And then let's see, who was another guy I was thinking about?
What are we
Because
doing with
Connor made a lot of people money. I'm trying to think of who's going to be the James Conner
I
of
was
this week.
thinking Dearness Johnson if Chubb's not going.
If
I
Chubb's
don't know
not
what he's
going,
going right now. I don't know what he is right now, but
yep,
they play at 1 o'clock. New England still got a nice defense, but we saw what he did on Monday night. I guess what Sunday night game when he got his one opportunity.
yep,
So he's gonna run hard. I can't
right,
imagine that he would be over what $3,500, $4,000 right now.
right. Logan Thomas, get him in your lineup on that slate. He should be coming back from IR. And let's see. I think those are the guys. Oh, Burrow. This is gonna be the bounce back. It's gonna be the bounce back. So Allen, Burrow, Prescott. Um. Oh, so okay for DraftKings. Like, what's the worst defenses? Um. I would not want to. So this is tough. So the Texans are terrible. So if Derrick Henry was playing, I would say stay away from the Texans. Um.
What you mean the
Yeah.
Titans?
Yeah, stay away from the Texans. Like, as far as like the worst ones, like the worst
Oh,
defenses, like the ones to stay away from. Obviously, you don't want to play the Texans, but sometimes people punt. So I've never, if you guys ever heard that saying, but sometimes people just play a bad defense so they can fit in
so they can fit
other
in the budget.
players fit in other players. Um, but in my head, I'm thinking like that
Don't
might not be
play
a bad idea.
Washington's defense against Tampa
Oh
Bay this
God,
week, though.
yeah,
Don't
don't do
do
that one.
that. Don't do nothing silly like that.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Or I'm waiting out too far. That's Thanksgiving week. The best defense. So let's see. Like, I think the defense that has the best matchups on DFS. I got a good feeling about the Steelers at home playing the Lions, who will
Okay.
go 0-17. So I don't know how much they are on DFS. I don't have that in front of me. Um,
I
I will
usually
play
pick
the
which running
Colts.
back.
Colts
Yeah.
defense. They're gonna get a pick six. Um, yeah, I don't trust the Washington football team. Um, the Cardinals at home could
Watch
get
my
a pick
mouth.
six.
Hey, Redskins defense is terrible.
Yeah,
They are terrible.
it's pretty bad. It's
I love
very
Chase Young,
disappointing.
but they're terrible. They are
Yeah,
absolutely terrible.
yeah. Stay away from the 49ers defense. Even though they're at home on Monday night, I feel like the Rams are gonna get try to get gully on them. But but the lock of the week, I really play the Steelers defense on DFS. I usually
Even with
pick my
CMC, I would say my lock of the week, Cardinals defense. Cardinals defense getting a chance to play against PJ Walker or Matt Barkley. Oof. And the Cardinals know the
mm,
run is coming. I would think I would like that defense. Give me some of that. Give me the Packers D if Geno's gonna play. Like I said, that's a 4 o'clock game though, so you're pushing it, trying to wait till 4 o'clock. Um,
that's a good strategy, Lord. So yeah, Najee Harris, man. So play Harris.
you too, Merle. No more Washington bashing, according to our resident Washington fan. Shout out to Reedsville, North Carolina, tuning
Sorry,
in.
sorry,
Our
Dan.
resident Washington fan, but yeah, they're
Watch this.
terrible.
Watch this terrible.
But I'm not mad at
Dumpster fire.
at Heineke as a deep streamer, if you're in a league where quarterbacks are scarce and you have Burrow on bye this week, and or you have
Yeah.
been somehow managing to get by with Daniel Jones or somebody like that, if you got to
Yeah.
go Heineke, that's not going to be a bad play. They're going to be down. Um, Buccaneers defense isn't great.
They're
Their
not great.
offense is just so much light years ahead of their defense, but their secondary is terrible. And Heineke destroyed them in the playoff game last year. And I
They
think that they're a little better on offense than they were now. They're just terrible on defense.
they may not have. There may be no AB and no Gronk. So that's interesting. But that's a
Well,
hard game to watch. I mean, I'll watch it, but that's a hard one to watch.
that's a fan
Uh,
game. You're
that's
a
a fan
fan,
game.
you'll watch.
If
You'll
you're a
watch
fan,
as a
yeah. So
fan.
yeah, and I mean, Brady. I was listening to Skip Bayless today, and he was talking about the Aaron Rodgers. They were talking Aaron Rodgers like he's a top. They were arguing like who's the biggest draw on the NFL. Is it Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, or the Cowboys?
Ooh.
Cowboys are probably number one.
As a team,
Yeah, I mean,
Cowboys.
just yeah, no, yeah, I
As,
mean, but the draw to get people to
oh,
watch
you get
a
people to
football
watch.
game. If the Cowboys are playing anybody, you're probably gonna watch it, or if they won or lost. You usually know if Brady won or lost. You usually know. I don't know if you know if Aaron Rodgers won or lost. You
You
usually
usually
know if
find that
Mahomes
out,
won or
but
lost.
you find that out in the ticker or when they jump in because you want
Yeah.
to see how many times
So I
Devontae
think
got.
I think it's Mahomes, Brady, some like tied, and then the Cowboys number one.
I say
You always
Cowboys. I still say Mahomes and then Brady, but it depends on who Brady and them are playing because basically anybody outside of New England still hates Brady. So Brady and the Cowboys are kind of one and the same thing. If you're
yeah.
not a fan, you're watching because you hope they
You
lose so
want
you
them
can
to
talk
lose,
shit to the people that are Brady fans. I
right?
mean, that's basically it. It's
Right.
just like it's
Yeah.
no different than people like who hate the Lakers. I don't really hate the Lakers, but I hate LeBron more than I hate the Lakers. So I
Right. Right.
watch so that I can when he does do something bad or he doesn't play well, so I can come on and be Skip Bayless and I can talk
Right.
about him the next day. It's not that I
Right.
hate the Lakers. I mean, I like Kobe.
Right. Right.
I used to
Right.
like Magic, but I'm a Celtics guy. But I hate
Yeah.
LeBron though. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's what it is. It's
Right.
the hate sometimes draws more fans than the likes. So yeah,
Marvin
I
said
get
he's gonna
get
make
with
sure he
the
has
Denver
Lamar
Cowboys
in
though.
Hollywood. Yeah. I was just, I was listening to somebody. The Celtics have won only one championship since Ronald Reagan was president.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that. Only one? Wait a minute. When did Reagan leave? 87?
88, man.
88?
88. Yeah. They've
So
won one championship since
we won one
Ronald Reagan.
title. Then we should have won the next title, but Perkins
We
got
have
hurt.
the same amount of championships as the Milwaukee Bucks since Ronald Reagan was president.
So
It's pretty sad.
we're not gonna count anything pre 80s, huh?
No,
We're not gonna
I'm just
count the
saying.
pre 80s.
I'm just saying. It's like, I mean, it's been a very long time since they've,
We've
they
been
haven't
there.
they haven't had a lot of success
But the
in
Celtics are
40
in the
years.
same boat as the most of the Eastern Conference. I know we're jumping off into basketball,
Yeah.
but if you have
Oh
crossed,
Lord, let's talk junk about
when was the
the
last time the
Washington
Redskins won a Super Bowl?
90, 91.
Was it 91
91.
or
They had a
87?
squad. They had a squad. No, it's 91. They had a squad. Mark Ribbon. They had a squad.
Oh yeah, I had the flu during that. I think I had a chicken pox. I watched that game from my grandmama's house. I had the chicken pox that game.
You in the second grade when that happened?
No way.
Oh, she was
Is
second
that
grade with Doug
possible?
Williams, and when Doug Williams won. But when they won that last one, I was like, no way. You were at least in middle
Fifth,
school,
fifth or sixth?
fifth or sixth.
Gotta be.
Yeah, they won in 91 because they had a hell of a team. 91.
No,
Because it was basically like the NFC East was running things for a while because it was like Giants,
well,
Washington, Cowboys. I mean, it was hell. Yeah, they won after Doug. They won. They won Mark Rippon. He was a quarterback. I forgot who their other Ernest Bonner maybe was a running back, but they had a hell of a squad. 91 because I feel like they went like 14-2. It was a hell of a team.
Lauren
But
knows
shit,
everything but the Saints. All right, Lauren. I tell you what, Lauren. If the Titans beat the
Mike said
Saints,
he don't like LeBron and he's a Laker, man. Don't be hating on
that's
LeBron,
true.
man. Y'all get off LeBron, man.
We don't like LeBron.
The greatest player of all time, man.
There you go. We're gonna stick to football. We're not even gonna go down that road with you, Lauren. If the Saints upset the Titans this week, you got to come on live next week. How about that deal?
I'm interested in
And you
that
got to
game because
wear
I
your
can't tell
white
I don't know if the
Archie
Saints are
Manning
good.
jersey.
I don't know if the Saints are good. I can't tell.
Well, there we go. Deal. Lauren will be on
Okay.
asking questions and debating about Brady and all things Baltimore Saints. She's quite cross cultural fan here.
Okay.
Live with us next week. If the Saints can somehow
If the Saints
knock
can
off the
figure out a way.
Titans at home. Although I'm a little
Yeah,
worried about the Saints because I see that Kamara is
man.
also on the injured list too with a bad hip.
Going with Archie. Who's Archie?
No, she's gonna rock the white Archie Manning throwback
Oh, okay.
next week, live on TV, live on YouTube. If the Saints can somehow pull that one
Cooper.
off in Tennessee.
Cooper and Eli and
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 Archie.
and, and
And then
Archie.
and Arch.
I was looking at Eli. Being a Giants fan, they retired his number maybe like 3 weeks ago or something. And I was looking at. He's got like 5 or 6 kids, maybe like 4 or 5, maybe it's 5 kids. And I can tell, like in that family, like it's very important for them to have a boy because he's got 5 girls and then like a little baby. So that poor woman kept on making sure they had kids until they got that boy. So
What did Eli just get in trouble for it? I don't think Eli was in trouble. I think that somehow, as they used the Aaron Rodgers word that I hate, the woke mob. Somehow they didn't have anything to talk about this week, so they dug back up the fact where Eli gave the 2 middle fingers on Monday Night Football like 5, 6 weeks ago. But I thought it was hilarious myself, and hell, you shouldn't have your kids up that late watching Monday Night Football anyway when he's giving middle fingers at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So
dude, if I cannot imagine if now he's old enough where there wasn't a lot of like smartphones and stuff when he was in college, but this dude went to the University of Mississippi. Can you imagine all of the crazy racist stuff that he was involved in at that school? Like you choose to go to that school, Ole Miss, the Rebels. He is so lucky that there's no YouTube footage of him
there's something.
in
There's a video
blackface.
camera.
He's in
There's
blackface at some fraternity party somewhere. There is some footage of Eli in blackface.
It's
Uh,
Mississippi.
yeah,
It's
it's
Mississippi.
Ole Miss. It's like, man, yeah. Eli's funny though. He has a show on ESPN Plus. It's called Eli's Travels or something. It's the funniest show, man.
Eli's a
He's
funny
awesome.
dude. Eli and Peyton
Funny dude.
both.
Yeah, that's a funny dude. Eli's hilarious, man. So I love that guy. He's much
You,
better than he's much better than that quarterback we got now.
Lauren, be nice to Peyton and Eli because I feel like in the next 10 years they're going to own the Saints. So they're just waiting it out. They're just waiting their time out. They're going to be owners. It's
Oh,
going to happen. They
they're
are
waiting
going
for
to be owners.
they're
The
waiting for the
Manning
old
family
lady.
will own a team. What else can they do? They have
Yeah.
2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Give them like 5 years. Their son, the nephew, will probably be in the NFL too. If nothing else, just off a name, he'll get a shot. Not like he got to win a
Yeah.
Heisman or nothing. He'll get a shot. The daddy's
Yep.
a legend. The only thing they can do now is own a team.
Yeah.
That's the
They're
only thing they can do is own a team.
waiting on that old lady to pass away.
They're waiting on the old lady. They waited out the husband. Old lady didn't want to sell. So now they're just going to wait the old lady out and buy the
Yeah.
Saints.
Yep. They got a deal worked out with them kids. They're like, man, we don't want this. We want this trouble.
Yeah, they don't want them.
But
trouble.
they own the Pelicans too, though, right?
Yeah, so why you don't need? That's being greedy. You need 2.
Yeah.
just by letting them buy the
she's shady.
Saints.
Miss
She
Benson
is
is shady.
Well, you can't be an old. Let's just call it like it. You can't be an old white owner that's like 80 years old and not be shady. You have
Yeah.
screwed somebody out of some money in the last 40, 50 years. It is what it is.
She be in the locker room now. Zion, I'm gonna need you to put them
Yeah.
milkshakes down.
Put the milkshakes down, baby. Yeah. Yeah. If I was an owner, I'd be criminal too. I would be cutting corners and shooting them dudes for any dollar I could get. But
That's funny.
it is what it is.
That's funny.
Lauren, any other questions before we wrap this up? We have been
Yeah.
going for an hour. We have We try to keep you entertained with some real football
Yeah.
in here this week.
Yeah. Seems like you guys really respond to that. So, and I saw Lauren. I saw you saw. I will put an optimal lineup on Jeff's page in the next day or two.
And I'll make sure you get to it.
Yeah.
And then you have to split the money with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll put an optimal lineup for tomorrow, and then an optimal lineup for the 1 o'clock slate. And just let people. I mean, I'm up $400 this year. So
he knows a little something.
And if it wasn't for Daniel Jones getting that stupid concussion 4 weeks ago, I'd be up like $10,000, dumbass. But that's what happens when you gamble. That's what happens when you gamble, man.
Yeah, hey, gotta take the L's. You gotta take the L's. So if no one else has a question, Mr. No Chain, the No Chain will be back next week with us. Lauren, hopefully, with the Saints upset, will be in the house with us. The commission might make an appearance. Hopefully, he's not running around saving the world as he does for all North Carolinians. We'll see.
What is
see if he's running around. And then I'll be here, and then we'll try to see if we can ever get this draft together. If not, we'll just talk shit about the people we've already drafted. Talk about some real football. Hope nobody in the NFL does anything stupid, but we hope they kind of do.
Well, that gives us material.
That gives us something to talk about next Wednesday. But until then, shout out Reedsville, Florida in here. I see some Greensboro, North Carolina's in here.
Yes, sir.
Check your lineups. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't be that guy that's in one of our leagues who's gone 0-9 because he hasn't switched any bye teams all week. But I'm not going to bring his name. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to talk that guy up. But we thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, hit us on our YouTube page. Subscribe, like the page. We'll keep it going, and we'll see you next Thursday for the commissioner. My name's Big Jeff. Danye in the back holding it down.
Producer Danye. Yep.